Yo, today we have an hour-long Quora Q&A video, and before I get into the Q&A, there are a few things I want to discuss, the what's, why's, how's, and of a few things. So firstly, why did I start uploading questions and, uploading answers on Quora? Well, I started on Quora and Reddit in November, so almost 7 months ago, and the whole idea behind it was just an honest intention from me to spread positivity and any advice that I've been able to gather over the past few years and spread that knowledge and spread awareness and help others. And as this title here, it really just is about helping others. I didn't really want anything back from people in terms of things that aren't related to helping others. I just wanted to help others, and it started off as that. However, when I started uploading on this YouTube channel, I had the idea to turn this into a YouTube series because I knew that I can tap into audiences people that don't use Quora and Reddit, because I was one of those people. I never used Quora, I never used Reddit, especially Quora. I did not know what Quora was. Low-key, I was scared of Quora because I was like, what is this website? Whenever I Google a question, Quora pops up somewhere, and I'm always avoiding it because I don't know what it is. So I knew there's a large amount of people that don't use Quora or Reddit, and I just wanted to tap into that audience and really spread that positivity and knowledge. And that's what that turned into. However, over the time, I've gathered quite a lot of videos, and I'm very proud of what I've been able to do. And although I haven't gathered the viewership or the following, I feel like my goal of spreading a good message, which will eventually be heard, I feel like I accomplished that so far, and it's continuous work and a continuous accomplishment that I'm looking to achieve. Now, I'm going to briefly explain what my plans are moving forward with Quora and Reddit. I believe at this point in my journey, I believe I'm going to stop Quora and Reddit either now or within the next 3 months for sure. Mainly because of the lack of engagement that I've been getting, and although it doesn't take that much time to go out and look for questions, it is a bit taxing trying to do 10 to 20 questions every day or every other day, and having no feedback in terms of people listening to reading it or those sort of things, and having any feedback, whether it's good or bad. And I feel like my efforts here on YouTube will be more of use, because I feel like I can get across to more people and potentially find that engagement that I'm looking for. And that's where I'm at with Quora and Reddit. I'm gonna put them on pause and really stop those completely. And it's the same thing for my newsletter, but I've already discussed that in a previous video somewhere. What this video is about is the fact that I've been answering questions since November, so over almost 7 months, and how I've structured my videos every month up until now has been 3 videos a week, push those out and record. Really, I used to record them every Sunday, record those and then upload those Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But what's been happening is that I'm getting behind, further and further behind, because I have so many, I have 4 to 5 series I'm doing, and what's happening is I'm getting behind, because if I spend 2 to 3 videos discussing the Chance Insights newsletter and do a book insight, I don't cover the Reddit and the Quora, so I get really behind. So what this video here is about is I want to move past November and December and then get to January, so that moving forward I can be in a better place to start really catching up in terms of where I'm at now with May. And I just want to cover as many questions as I can, because I feel like the more questions I can cover, the better chance I have in getting more answers out there, and potentially an answer someone is looking for can be found for them. I'm not going to do every single question because I feel like it's just going to be a repetitive thing of a reading class with me, which I'm not a teacher, and I'm sure as hell you're not a student right now. You're just watching this video for some sort of educational or other sort of reason. I'm just going to go over some questions. I think probably like 50 to 70%. I'm not going to go above that because I don't want to be reading and reading. I want to be discussing a few good questions and answers. So that's the part of the way. I really should have said you should have skipped that first bit, because that bit may not even be for you watching this. That may be for someone else, or maybe for me in the future time. But okay, so I've arranged I've arranged a few things in terms of I have 4 questions. I'll start off here, and we are in the November 26th of 2023 range, and I have to work all the way up to the end of December. Hopefully, if I did a answer on the 1st of January, I'll finish off with that and get to somewhere around there. But basically, what I'll do is I'll assess the question, and if the question seems good, then I'll check out the answer. And if the answer seems good, then we'll review the answer and talk about anything that needs to be talked about. Okay, and excuse me, I do feel a little bit sick, and I did wake up recently. So okay, try to make this as least boring as possible. Try to make it a little bit entertaining. Where do you go to find inspiration? One way I do this is using my past pieces of work. For example, exercises I created and used my journals to use for periods of time. One of them was goal creating oriented, and I was consistent with doing this exercise for 18 months. When I look back and see the progress I made, I feel inspired to create new paths of innovation to grow in knowledge and help others. 100%. I agree with that, because when I look back at the things I used to do and the accomplishments I've had, it really helps me have that drive to accomplish more and makes me proud of what I've done. And that is a great form of inspiration. Pride and accomplishment are great tools for you to look back on and use that as an inspirational tool for your future endeavors. How can one develop and stick to a productive morning routine that sets a positive tone for the rest of the day? I think even me looking at this question up front is how I would answer it now is to attach your morning routine to things that you like as well as things that are beneficial, and try to merge the two into something that is, what would you say, synonymous or the same thing. And that helps you stay consistent, because if you do something productive that you don't like, then you're going to hate it, and you're not going to like it. Mentally, you're just not going to like it. And if you do something that is not productive and you really like it, or if it's bad for you and you really like it, it can have physical or mental effects on you negatively. So try to meet the bridge between the two, and you will find consistency and benefits tenfold. But what I do say here is that one way to do this is to understand what you want to achieve long term by reading resources like books or online articles. Okay, so basically what I said here was that, excuse me, one thing I said here is that you want to understand what you want to achieve long term. So basically, long term achievement, I tie it to attaching your productive morning routine that you call productive, attaching it to a long-term vision and helping you accomplish something that you want to do. Okay, then I say break down that long-term vision into small goals that you can accomplish daily, and it will help you overall get that long-term goal. And although this doesn't have my answer doesn't really have relevance to his question, but it starts another discussion, which is important. I really picked a bad day to do this, and I'm just going to be, excuse me if I'm going to be sniffing the entire video. As an introvert with a boring job, how do you stay motivated and focused at work? Very good. Do I have a very good answer? You can shift your mindset towards your job by focusing on looking at ways it can be interesting and fun to you. Okay. So I took the route of perspective shift and looking at things differently, which doesn't work for everyone really, but it can be valuable for many people. What can help is understanding what you are passionate about by taking time to do new things, figuring out what you don't like. Okay, I've already said this a million times before on Quora and Reddit. And this kind of advice, unless someone understands it or is willing to understand it, or unless you are speaking to them directly face to face, it's hard to get this message across, because you'll read it and you're like, what is this? This guy's basically telling me just to like my job. But it's a lot more deeper than that, and it does require a discussion, because this is a very good topic in terms of mindset shift and focusing on what you like instead of what you don't like. How do you stay motivated to work out, especially on busy days? Okay, I don't even work out myself, so I can't even give this piece of advice. Have the end target in mind, whether it's a 90-day change or a 2-year transformation or a healthier lifestyle. Also, changing up the exercises can be an easy way to keep things fresh. This is very, very factual in my opinion. Well, that's an oxymoron. I just said it's a fact, but it's my opinion. I do agree with it a lot. When you start to look at what you want to accomplish, and you just envision, you have a visualization, a routine where you envision yourself looking in a certain physique, accomplishing a certain thing, it helps you with the drive to actually see that through. So that's one great way to put that. Okay, so what are some motivational ways to find change? You know what I will do? I'll do this one. I'll do that one. Possible to be too positive. Why am I still not confident? Okay. Yeah, I think those are good. What are some ways to find motivation to change your life from a boring and comfortable routine? Take time to explore and learn what you are passionate about. This requires facing fears, trial and error, and dedication. Then you can take time to learn about your passions and then create goals that you can work towards achieving things in that field. So it's almost like this person is baiting the question. Well, he's not, or she's not, but the question is being baited to stepping out of your comfort zone, because you mentioned the word comfortable and boring, and as I fell for the bait, I said you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone, and once you're ready to do that, you can achieve so much. So if your life is boring and you feel comfortable all the time, start taking more risks in terms of stepping out of your comfort zone, which means doing things that make you nervous, things that make you anxious, things that make you feel a bit jittery. Like I would love to do this. I'm just really nervous about doing this because I don't know, is it going to be good, or thinking about different things that make you nervous. That really gets you uncomfortable in that way, not in the way of being a criminal. Not in the way of being a criminal and committing crime and doing stuff like that. It means how I explained it. So, and the boring aspect is how you solve the boring thing is to really think about what's interesting to you, and don't go overboard and think, it would be interesting to live on a yacht and to have 10 bad women with me, and to be like, I want to own a plane and I want to fly around the world like GTA. Think about like the small things that you can do that are easy, that are interesting to you, and it does require a little bit of self-searching and whatever you call it. It requires a bit of looking into what you like, and that's a whole other discussion of how you find that. But I feel like I'm satisfied in the fact that I've covered this topic a few times already. So although repetition is key, I'm getting tired of repeating that thing. I'm getting tired of repetition. So that's the answer for that question. I have just wasted 5 years of my life. What can I do to turn it around? Ooh, that's a tough question, man. That does require a sit down with somebody. Probably 5 people. Since you wasted 5 years, you need to talk to 5 different people that do therapy. Search for something you are passionate about by trying new things. Create goals centered around your passion so you have targets to reach. Be consistent in working towards them and practice positive attitude. These are like, it's like, I love when I call it Amazon shipping, because basically what I'm doing is I'm packing 3 different things in one box and throwing it to his front door right through the post. Those 3 pieces of advice, they can be used together, but they're really separate advices in general. And it does go to show that you can just say anything to any question. This question really doesn't give much room as to how this person wants to change their life, but I just gave any piece of advice so that they can just see it. And I am what I'm gonna do now moving forward with the questions. I think I'm gonna do 1 to 2 questions a day. That's it. That I'm with these ones, because I just realized I'm going through all of my ones on the 28th of November, and it may be a waste of. I think about now, oh my God, I didn't go through every single question, but I don't want to go through every single question anyway, so it's alright. Actually, I'm not going to do these questions because they're all on the same day. I feel like it's just a waste. Well, let's just do this one. I'm 28 and I feel so lost in my life. How do I find myself? Self-discovery, a very good topic. Start by learning more about yourself. Okay, I've repeated this so many times. Build a positive mindset by using positive affirmations and visualization. I've discussed this, and building a positive mindset requires effort. It requires conscious daily thinking about it, visualizing, writing, discussing with others. It just requires effort, and with effort comes results, and you'll be very proud of how much you accomplish with this mindset. Set goals that align with your passions and work towards them slowly. This is a good way to get started in your search for purpose. Oh yeah, that bit there is just an additional, another Amazon package thing there. It's not bad, but it's not bad. It just gives the extra piece of advice that they may have been looking for. Is it possible to have all mindsets of growth instead of fixed? Let's see this one as well. Got to December 1st, finally. How do I improve my life with Quora? Yeah, that would be a good question. What's the problem with self-improvement? If you focus on yourself today, what would you do differently? That would be interesting to see what I said there about myself. What is an example of a SMART goal for personal development? I think that's my most viewed question, right? That's my most viewed answer for sure. How do I keep myself motivated and positive always? Okay, so I picked 3 more questions, but we have a lot of things to cover now. So this is my December 1st answer. Let's see. How can I motivate myself to work hard? You start off by putting yourself in the right mind space. Set time that you can work towards your goal during the day. Build goals and set limits. Practice self-discipline, consistency, and don't be too hard on yourself if you fail a couple of times. I think this is less of an Amazon packaging, but it is still Amazon packaging. And the question is asking for an Amazon delivery, because it is very open-ended and anyone can start that discussion. As you can see, 2,300 answers. I wonder how many. There's thousands of different answers on this. Then at least 2,000 different opinions and answers on this question. And I'll be interested. You know what? Let's have an interactive thing here. If you're watching this, I'll be interested in how you answer this question yourself. If someone wants to ask you this question, how would you answer it? Why is it important to improve our talents, and how can it help us become more motivated in our jobs? How can this be done? One way to do this is to link your ambition with your job. If you are not sure about what your ambitions are, explore new hobbies, knowledge, etc. To find out what you like and don't like. Every time I say what you like or don't like, I start to get worried. Am I going to say the same thing? Then once you do this, it becomes easier to want to grow, because improvement in your job means that you get closer to achieving your ambitions. That's a very good statement, actually. That's a very good statement. Yeah, that's a very good statement. And also, when you tie your talents to your jobs, it can help you become motivated with your jobs. That's a simple advice that helps. Is it possible to have all mindsets of growth instead of having a fixed mindset? That's a confusing question. How did I answer that? Yes, it is. You need to learn more about growth mindsets, behaviors, and habits. I'm pretty sure there is no growth mindsets or fixed mindsets. It's one mindset. There probably is like an array of different types of growth mindset, of a growth mindset, but there isn't growth mindsets. There isn't A, B, C, D, F, G. So that's an incorrect kind of approach to that question. How do I improve my life with Quora? This is probably the best question on Quora. Read answers to questions you may have had. Read about topics, books people bring up. Ask your own questions like you're doing now, and be open to new opinions. It is the easiest question. It is the best question, in my opinion, for Quora itself, because it's about Quora, but it also has the easiest answer. You just need to look at the answers to questions. What's the problem with self-improvement? There can be many problems, like being too extreme or oversimplifying people's problems, like with do this and this solutions, and not assessing that the problem is very specific and requires professional help. So yeah, generalizing and oversimplifying, and being too extreme are problems with self-improvement. But not just self-improvement, with everything. Those three things can cause disruption and confusion among the people and frustration. If you focus on yourself today, what would you do differently? Okay, bear in mind, this is almost 7 months ago. This is 6 months ago. What did I say? If I were to start again, I would start by trying out new things to see what I don't like and do. Okay, let me give myself... Okay, that's because I said what I like and don't like. I'm starting to go back into I imagine myself on the production line for the Amazon packagings again. And to see what I don't like, and then create goals around the things that I can accomplish that I do like every week/month. Yes, very simple answer, very broad answer. I guess, yes, I would agree with that. Now, my most viewed answer is the SMART goals, which is probably my favorite topic in general, one of my favorites. What is an example of a SMART goal for personal development? You should look at SMART goals as a way to create definable and achievable goals that are personalized for yourself. I highlighted personalized. That's the only other word I've highlighted, because of the importance of personalization. It's more important than SMART goals itself, because if you create SMART goals that have no benefit to you or personalization to you, then there's no use of them, really. There's no point, because it doesn't benefit you. You need to find one that benefits you, that can allow you to help yourself and help others. However, one example could be for someone who is interested in finishing a book. He could set a goal to read 2 pages a day of Atomic Habits, and set a target to finish a book in 2 months. That's breaking down the entire SMART goal approach. Simply, this is specific to his current book, measurable as he will be accountable for 2 pages daily, achievable because he has given himself time to accomplish it without overwhelming himself, relevant to his current interest in books, and time bound by setting the target for 2 pages a day for 2 months. See how simple that was to break down a SMART goal. It's easy to say to oh, you should apply SMART goals, you should try it. But if you don't see an example, you're gonna be confused as to how it works. But when you see it in an easy, simple example, as easy as just reading 2 pages of a book a day of Atomic Habits, you think, oh, I can start making these myself. Once you get in that motion of putting these goals in, of creating these goals and practice and achieving them, you can add more to them, add more context, add more detail, make your goals really something big and something great, which you can definitely do. It just starts off brick by brick, layer by layer. How do I keep myself motivated and positive always? You have to be consistent with your positive thoughts and work rate. This doesn't mean you go at 80 to 90% or 100% majority of the time. This can mean ranging from 30 to 80% over a long period of time. Small consistent steps go a long way. Don't be too focused on going big, but more focused on being consistent. And one of my friends, I've discussed this with him, is I made this thermometer looking thing, this meter, and I called it the burnout meter. And I explained that from anywhere from 80 to 100%, if you stay at that rate for a long time, you will start to burn out and you will crash back to zero. And once you recover, if you go back to 100 again, you're going to crash again. And that up to down thing is going to keep happening. And you see how volatile it is. It's just very volatile. So if you had it on a graph over like a 6-month period, for example, you're going to have a lot of dips and a lot of spikes. And you don't really like that kind of thing. You really want a progressional kind of growth. And you want a steady, if you stay at anywhere from 30 to 80%, if you range from that period, your graph looks a lot more cleaner and you have a lot less dips and spikes. And the dips and spikes come with stress, come with all of those bad things. So you don't want that. How can I start loving myself and taking care of me? One effective way is using positive affirmations that focus on yourself, your environment, your relationships, and your abilities. Personalize them to yourself. Wait, I just read that. I read that realizing that this is an Amazon shipping that I did. I've already answered I've already had an answer like this before. And by the way, I don't copy and paste my answers. I literally write them up. So I write up the same answers word by word sometimes without even thinking about it. Personalize them to your own circumstances and read them aloud at least once a day. The shift is not sudden but gradual, and with consistency you will see great effects over time. This question for me is very important, and it's something that I don't really talk about too much, but I myself struggled with loving myself or putting myself first. I would always put other people first in a bad way, meaning I wouldn't care about myself. I would always think about other people. But it's bad because you should really care about yourself and you should put yourself first and then use that emphasis to help other people. When you put yourself first, you really start to build your own attributes and you really start to build valuable things about yourself that you can really put onto others and help others with, as opposed to becoming a tool for everyone else and really not valuing your own life, which is not a good thing at all. What is the importance of setting realistic goals for long-term motivation? I'm drinking a lot of water because I've realized in my videos I'll be dehydrated. And you see saliva all in my mouth. This is important because you don't overestimate your abilities and respect your limits by setting achievable targets. Yeah, so don't overestimate your abilities. You have to respect your limits and your boundaries. You have to first study them by looking at what you've accomplished previously and what you haven't accomplished or haven't been able to accomplish. Look at that and start to work around that. Don't think you're Superman, because you're not. You're not Hulk. You're not Superman. You're not the Avengers. You're not DC. You're human with limits. So work around those limits. This will be healthy for your mindset because you're optimistic about the future. I'll leave the rest. So, how can you find your why? Have you found your why? Oh yeah, let's see that. Next one, we'll do one a day. What do you do when you are successful in your goal? No. Well, let's see. This one is a bit specific. Let's see that one. I feel like I'm at a shop. I'm just picking out things I want. That one there. Now, unfortunately, if you're watching this video saying pick this one, it's too late. I can't go back. What is the difference between values, goals, and objectives? We don't need to see that. Personal experience. Yeah, I'll share that. We'll get personal. I've been personal over the past 7 months. Why are some people so hard on themselves? Good question. What are some ways leaders can support their teams? Yeah, that one. So we got to December 10th. I think I might even be able to finish before the hour mark. Who knows? Have you found your why and connected it to your goals? How does this help you pursue your goals during challenging times? Yes, I have, and it helps you by giving you the conviction to continue because you understand your reasoning behind it. A great book I would recommend on this is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek is a great speaker, very understanding on the discussion of finding your why and stuff like that. Now, my personal why is a purpose it's really three things. The first thing is to worship Allah, which is a purpose that every Muslim or every human being is born with. Second one is to spread the message of Islam to the best of my ability. Third thing is to contribute to the betterment of society, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I hope that is clear. Should a university professor push a student out of her comfort zone or challenge her shyness even though she's 26 years old and should decide herself if she sees her social anxiety as an issue or not? I think it would be better if the professor guides her and lets her decide for herself. At the end of the day, it is her choice and she gets to choose how she wants to live her life. We can only point each other in the right direction. From there, it is upon us to make these important choices. It's very, very important not to impose your decision to better others on them. Every person has their choice, and if someone doesn't want to improve their life, so be it. You can't change that. It's really upon them, and that's what this YouTube channel supports. I'm not here imposing what I believe on any person here. Every person that's watching these videos, they're watching for their own benefit, and they're watching to see how they can take the stuff I say and apply it to their lives. It's not about me forcing every person to agree with me. I know that not every person agrees with me already. I've grown up knowing that. I've grown up dealing with that. But I still doesn't mean I can't share what I believe, and it doesn't mean you can't share what you believe. And it puts us in this anchor of, okay, you can say what you want, I can say what I want. Let's find a bridge between both of us. We can agree on certain topics. We can disagree. If you see betterment in a certain way, share it. I'll share it. And now, in terms of this one here, I say instead of getting the professor to forcefully try to change everything about her or to get her out of her comfort zone, he should guide her. He should advise her. He should give a good form of leadership, and in terms of that relationship between the student and the teacher, he should give her advice in terms of, oh, this is how you're doing this. I see a better future for you if you do this, and etc. I don't think I shouldn't really be going over this too much because I'm not the professor. I'm not a professor. I'm not a advisor in any sort of way. I'm just a regular guy like every person else. What drives you to push yourself beyond your limits when pursuing your goals? Okay, now my mouth's starting to get really dry. The fact I can contribute to the betterment of society with my knowledge and wealth and character. I want to help others, and aiming for something that is bigger than myself gives me extra strength and perseverance I need to work towards my goals and accomplish them. Yeah, it's very true. It's very, very true. We'll leave it at that. Can you share a personal experience where vulnerability led to personal growth or positive change in your life? When I share parts of my journey and life with my friends or work colleagues, sometimes they intentionally or unintentionally say one piece of advice that ends up being the missing piece of the puzzle for my approach to a certain goal. Being open can sometimes be a great way to hear different perspectives that you won't see yourself without others. It is a great reminder that I alone cannot do as much as I can with the help of those willing to help me. I agree with that 100%. There's nothing that I said that's wrong, in my opinion. The only thing I would add onto that and give a caveat to is who you're sharing your stuff with. You have to be selective. You have to actually be careful sometimes with what you share with others, because unfortunately, in the real world, we're talking, like Rocky Balboa said, not everything is all sunshine and rainbows. Not in the real world, not everyone wants the best for you. Some people actually have malice towards you. Some people want to hear that one thing about you so they can break your character because of envy and jealousy and hatred and pride and ego and all of those negative things. So it leaves me in a crossroads with you because I can't directly speak to you right now. I'm just speaking to you through a video. Be careful with who you're sharing your stuff with. You judge that by you judge people's character and your experience. Do people seem genuine to you? Those people that seem genuine, share things bit by bit and observe their behavior. Observe what they're sharing with you too. So that's my only caveat with that, and the major caveat, because it can be very detrimental to your life if done negatively, if done badly, negatively, or incorrectly. Why are some people so hard on themselves? Bad negative talk and negative views on themselves can be caused by a natural habit from childhood or adulthood, or conditioning from their environment, etc. I went through this myself, of bullying myself and negative self-thoughts and all of those things, so that's why I can really speak on that. What are some ways leaders can support their members' general well-being? One method is inclusion. If someone in the team's opinion is heard, then they will feel involved and be happy that they are contributing to the group. I would feel the same, and so would others. I want to put a heavy expression on I would feel the same. I have felt the same when certain managers or certain groups or certain colleagues or certain friends and friend groups have involved me in certain projects, in certain ideas, in certain conversations. I feel very happy, and I feel like I'm involved in the group. And if you spread that involvement around an entire group, everyone will have a care for you. Sometimes thinking about what would make yourself happy is a good way to wait. Sometimes sometimes thinking about what would make yourself happy is a good way to gauge how you can make others feel happy too. That is one of the best things I've said on Quora. If you think about, in general, I'm not talking about the insane criminals that think about certain things, but if you think about what makes you happy, that can make someone else happy. Okay, I had to go do something, and unfortunately I lost my train of thought. Alright. So, let's see. Leave your comfort zone, but how do I recognize it? That's a good question. Brother, that's a good question, brother. What are some attributes of someone who has a growth mindset? Very good question. What are some ways to overcome? Yeah, that's a nice one. It's really the ones I catch in my eye. That's a good way to put laziness. Laziness is an obstacle. Why do I have no goals and just go with the flow? Let's find out why you do that. What is a reason to push yourself further in life and become better? I already know my answer to that. I'm pretty sure. Cure laziness. Does laziness have a cure? How do I accept things I can't control or change? Leave your comfort zone. But how do I recognize my comfort zone? You take time to think about the things you want to do, but you are holding yourself back by rationalizing. Making reasons like fear, embarrassment, laziness, or lack of time as excuses. Stepping out of your comfort zone means doing something that is productive and healthy, but you feel like you shouldn't go that extra mile and feel uncomfortable for a period of time. Not an unhealthy comfort. And you need to make that very clear. When someone asks you what is your comfort zone, and you tell them you just have to be uncomfortable, and then they go and try harm themselves, or they go try harm someone else. That's not what that means. It means doing something productive and healthy that makes you feel nervous or anxious. Like, for example, when you speak in a public area, when they put you on a stage, or you speak in front of a group of people, that kind of nervousness. What are some attributes of someone who has a growth mindset? Someone who asks questions when he encounters problems, is open to sharing and learning from his mistakes, has a bigger picture in mind, focuses on what helps him and others accomplish their goals. Others is key. These are just a few. These are just a few of the key attributes of a growth-minded person. What are some ways to overcome excessive thinking and become a better person? Try focusing on one thing at a time, whether it is reading, writing, exercising, one goal, or even one object directly in front of you. Yeah. You need to really practice focus. Focusing solely on one thing. Focus on one thing is the counter to excessive overthinking, because when you start doing multiple things, it can contribute to you start thinking about multiple things at once. The important thing is to not allow too many thoughts to get you feeling overwhelmed. So the goal is to focus on one thing, to build that skill and focus, and also do something that requires your entire focus. So it's not something that you can think about a million things at the same time. So if you was reading a book that you're not very interested in, and every few lines you start thinking about the Titanic, and you start thinking about aliens, and you start thinking about your family, that's not a good book. You should read a more interesting book. If I am lazy for achieving my goals, what can I do about that to solve this obstacle of my own laziness? Focus on doing tasks that for short periods of time to build on your laziness. It can be that you view the work as a lot, so you lay back. Break down your work until you feel that you're not overwhelmed. So I just gave one view on the subject of laziness. It could be that the thing that you're facing is too much for you right now, and you view it as a big mountain. So what you can do is tell yourself, I'm just going to do it for the next 30 seconds. I'm going to do it for the next 60 seconds. I'm going to do it for the next 10 minutes and I'll stop. And you just trick yourself in that way to slowly start getting into it. Why do I have no goals and just go with the flow? Probably because you don't want to. If you don't want to try, if you would like to try to, don't overthink it. Just set goals and practice, and with practice and learning, you will get better at it. Yeah, this question doesn't really leave anything. It just leaves an open for discussion, but the question is just bad. It is bad because there's not a lot of context. So I could say A, B, and C, and he tells me, or she tells me, it's not even the reason. How can I stop overthinking, stop blaming myself for everything, or taking others' opinions too much seriously? Are there any books on psychology that could help? The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy is a great book to help with understanding thought patterns and how to make them more positive. The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem is another great book. Yeah, both these books I've covered, and hopefully if you're watching this, you've seen the value of those 2 books. What is the reason to push yourself further in life and become better? One reason can be contributing to the betterment of society. This is my own reason. This can be tied to your own development, because if you improve your abilities, skills, and resources, you can improve your ability to contribute to the betterment of society. This is one of my main driving forces to self-improve. It's my top 3 main forces. How do I stop overthinking what I like? Practice focusing on the present moment. For example, focus on an object in front of you or a hobby/activity you are doing. It can be difficult to adjust if it is your first time being intentional about it, but it definitely helps you long term. Yeah. Why is it important to change yourself? If you desire improvement, it is vital that you are open to change, because you open the door to learning new experiences, changing old habits, and having new experiences and meeting new people. That is one of the most important reasons for change, and that's one of my best answers. Does pressure cure laziness? Yes, it can definitely help you be more proactive if you have a deadline and you really care about the certain task. This can create pressure which can cause you to go into fight or flight, shout to flight, or more specifically, act or sit / not act. If you think about what deadlines do to you, deadlines make you very agitated, and it makes you very nervous. So it makes you act or not act. For example, if you had a homework task to do or an exam date, it's really when you start getting closer to the exam date that you start working harder and you start worrying more, and that laziness starts to go away. Oh, I deleted. How can I accept things I can't control or change? It can help to focus on the positive instead. If you focus on what you can control over time, you'll realize that it is a matter of fact that focusing on what you cannot control is bad for your mental health, and focusing on what you can control helps you take action and build on that, and build on what you can do to help others and yourself. What makes a good leader? I've already gone over this. No, I haven't. Not over this day. What's your dream work? If money was not an issue, what would you? How can we be a good leader? Taking into consideration what other people think and taking full responsibility of your team. Yo, that is probably my best answer. That is probably one of my best answers about leadership. Short and sweet, short and straight to the point. Am I the only one who is inspired by all the mistakes I have made and learned to grow, and not by a particular person at all? Why do most people get inspired from others? Yo, I'm really dehydrated. So the answer to this question is other people can be a great source of inspiration. One reason could be that it gives you a standard to uphold or a level to reach, so you can have something to compare your progress against. Comparison is a great form of motivation. What's your dream work? One where I can contribute to the betterment of society in a way that shows my personality and passion. How has your life changed in the past 3 years? I started to read a lot more. I worked out more. I made new connections with people and got a degree, and tried out a few businesses. Very brief, but very true. How do I get over stupid mistakes I have done in my past? Focus on how you can improve from them. Repeat to yourself that you cannot change your past, and look towards your future. Look towards your future. I think one of the most important thing I forgot to add there was self-forgiveness. You need to forgive. You need to be forgiving. You need to forgive yourself. If money was not an issue, what would you be doing with your life? The same things that I've been doing the past month, helping people online, contributing to the betterment of society, and worshipping Allah. And a month. You see how a month turned into 7 months quickly. Man, the December 24th, I went on an answering spree. I answered so many questions. This person asked a question, but he also answered it. Let's just check this out quickly. How do you smile? Because life is too short to be unhappy. You use your lips. In all seriousness though, life does have moments where it calls for you to be happy as well as sad. If you want to smile and practice the attitude of happiness and joy. There are so many blessings out there in the world, and you can watch about, read about, and or close your eyes and think about. Allah mentions that if you wanted to count the blessings in your life, you cannot enumerate them, and that's one reason to be very happy. Think about them and with the right intention to be happy, and a grin or a big smile will be easy for you. Just practice smiling more. When you're talking to people, smile more. When you're in environments, work environments, outside, at home, smile more, and it'll become something of a habit, and you'll be more happy because you're practicing happiness and you're smiling more. What are some inspiring stories of real people overcoming adversities? Reading Malcolm X's biography was remarkable. This was a great source of inspiration for me as a 20/21-year-old, and it eventually led me to learn about Islam. Alhamdulillah, thank God. Thank God Almighty, thank Allah. I've been able to cover the autobiography of Malcolm X and the video following it, which was an Islamic video. And I think I've done two Islamic videos on my channel. How can you change your life in the world? By discovering what you want and taking steps towards that every week. Very broad question, very broad answer. If someone is addicted to being in their comfort zone all day and every day and knows all the reasons, blah blah blah, they have to try out because they have theorized what they should do and why. Don't overcomplicate things, and think about the outcomes and different ways to do something. Just do it. That is not a Nike sponsor. That is just doing it. What is your goal for 2024? That'll be interesting. Let's see. We're gonna reach that mark. It looks like we're gonna reach the mark of January 1st. Alhamdulillah, thank God. What is your advice for someone who overthinks every single thing and thinks way ahead of the future? So it looks like anxiety plays a role. Try to adopt short-term thinking by creating goals to accomplish daily, weekly, and monthly. From there, you work towards your goals and practice focus while working on a specific task. This means to avoid thinking too much outside of what you are occupied with. Being busy and focused is a great counter to overthinking because idle time is a big trigger for too much thinking. Is it good to be judged, criticized, and viewed negatively throughout your life in order to prove to yourself that you can maintain high self-esteem in the absence of positive feedback on yourself? It is not good to have any of those things. However, when it does happen, it is good to maintain your connection with God and your ability to practice positivity during these times. You don't need to prove your abilities to yourself. It is better to believe in your abilities before, during, and after your task. In regards to negativity and stuff like that, I've picked up a very strong sentiment, a very strong statement that I've created. Well, not created. I've created for myself, but I've used other resources like the four agreements from Daniel Ruiz, which I've yet to. Okay, let me stop. Let me just mention it. It's don't take anything personally and lead with humor. Those two things help a lot in me pushing negative things away and focusing on positive things. What is your goal for 2024? To contribute to the betterment of society. Who gauges that? Who gauges whether I've accomplished that or not? Do I gauge it? Do the people watching gauge it? How important is age as a factor in learning? Different ages can have different levels of memory. Different ages can have different levels of memory, speed to learn, and comprehension. I guess that is one of the differences that age can have on learning. However, that should not be an excuse to not learn. Is 30 too late to turn my life around? That is the best question to follow up with that answer. No, it's not too late. Whenever you decide to change, it's time to change. Don't let doubts and fears stop you from changing positively. There are people younger than you, there are people older than you, and the people older than you, way older than you, that have turned their life around. So what's stopping you being 30? My older brother is 30, and he can change his life whenever he wants. He can turn things around. How can I forget the past and move on? Focus on the future. Occupy your mind with what you can change moving forward, rather than focusing on what you cannot change in your past. Yeah. We'll do those 3 questions. Or I'll do those ones too, since it's yeah. Alright, let's move to 2024 now. This is going to be a long scroll because unfortunately I can't pick the months. I can't. I can't pick the answers. So let's get to the bottom of this. Let's get to the bottom of this. Almost like a Scooby-Doo reference. Let's get to the bottom of this. Come on. Okay. Oh, so I didn't answer any. I missed the opportunity to answer on January 1st, unfortunately. No. What's an interesting way you've established confidence to yourself and others while facing adversity in a business capacity? Using positive affirmations and working towards my passions help me establish confidence and display that confidence to others through my thoughts and actions. It is something I need to consistently work on as it naturally fluctuates with time. What can you do today that you were not capable of a year ago? Step into a passion that is difficult and leaves me open to criticism. And that's me before. Is that after I started my YouTube channel or not? But that's me referring to Quora. Let's just say Quora, because when you start to put yourself out there and answer questions and really put your own personality out there, that leaves you open to criticism. Okay, this is the one. What is the best way to focus on the important things in life? Focus on what is important to you that also benefits either your health, knowledge, wealth, or society. Yeah, create goals that are in line with your values and keep notes on your thoughts and progress. Okay, now this is very much packaged. This is the Amazon delivery package again, but it's the question leads to that. This is just a collection of platitudes. Oh yeah, pretty much what I said. Everybody knows that. The problem is how exactly to achieve that. You must be the kind who advises people not to get nervous. Just how does one do that? My goal with this answer was not to give specific advice. My goal was to give general pointers so readers who are interested in them can look further into it themselves. I hope my intentions are clear to you now. Exactly, Henry. I can't really gauge what this person wants to improve. I just have to go based off this broad question. So I have to give an Amazon packaged delivery and just give a general piece of advice. If this person wants more specific advice, of course he can find that. I want to journal, but I'm losing motivation. Are there any journals that provide encouragement and can help to keep the motivation? I don't use different types of journals, just a standard notebook. However, I use certain techniques that get me to write when I feel uninspired or have writer's block. One technique I'm currently using is writing a recap summary of every book that I've read in the past 3 years, using articles online to write from and add my own notes to. Try different methods to get you started, and hopefully you will be writing whenever you want to. Yeah. So you don't necessarily need different journals. You can have the same journal, but just different exercises. Try to be more fun and more engaging with what you're writing. Because really journaling, the boring side of journaling is this. Or writing down the date, and then writing down, okay, today is this date, and I've done this and that, and I felt this way and this way, and I love this so much, and I wish I can keep doing this, and then full stop, and then you do this every single day. It can get really repetitive, and adding in different things like exercises and tasks and different things that I've mentioned before help you be more consistent. It helps the journaling become more engaging and more fun for you to do, and it really you can find a lot of beneficial ways, in many different ways, to improve in terms of your journaling skills, in terms of your knowledge, and I overall recommend that. What motivates you personally to continue even in the face of adversity? Being able to help others, using my knowledge and resources. That is one of my biggest motivators. So yeah, being able to help others is one of the greatest motivations you can have as a human being. Okay. We've got to the hour mark, and I feel like I've got the perfect end to this too. SubhanAllah. I'm 29 years old and feel like my life is over. What should I do? Change your mindset. Your life isn't over. You can still improve your lifestyle and environment. So him giving me feel like my life is over statement, it gave me the piece I needed to bite on, the piece I needed to work with. That was my piece to work with. Read books and forums about adopting a growth mindset and taking on good habits. Engage with communities that promote positivity. Believe in yourself and your future. Who is ready to build a new chapter of their life? I am ready. January 2nd. And I'll say that one right there. Now, I don't know if I covered this at the start of the video because it's been an hour. I've already forgot, but I'm going to cover this eventually in the future. So, and I hope when I cover this in the future, it's going to be a lot more refined, a lot more details, and very much more specific as to what I plan. But what I plan to do with this channel, Chance Insights, is I have a plan in terms of where I want to take it, and what I want to do with this channel, like I mentioned in my first video, is I want to, like I mentioned in this first video, this channel is not about me. It's about the community that I'm trying to build, and getting this discussion of positivity and growth and personal development and growing as a community. That is what I want to make this channel about. And eventually what I plan with this channel is to have a team of members of this community manage this channel, upload on this channel, and do all of that stuff. I'm not going to be hands-on really with this channel at some point in the future, but I need to do the legwork first, and I need to practice what I preach. I need to work on uploading these videos and putting that effort in myself to prove that I do care about this, and this is something that is valuable, and to prove that if you work on this, then you can contribute to the betterment of society, like I've mentioned. And although I've had to break through barriers of, not getting viewers, being shy in front of the camera, not being able to get my message across clearly, trying to be as calm as possible, as clear as possible. I'm very proud of my work. Of this is all pretty much my work of what I've been able to get across, and it's like how I said, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I'm getting all of this stuff done and spreading this message across. Hopefully it's been clear, and we still got a lot more. Like, don't this video isn't the mark of the end. This video is just a heads up that what's gonna happen in the future. But I still have this probably like 50 to 100 more, probably 150 more videos I need to do. But there will be a stopping point as in terms of my involvement, but that will blossom into something even greater. I think it will lead to something even better, bigger than me, and that's why I hope to build. I'm not a revolutionist. I'm not a massive inspirer of change and growth. I'm just a regular guy. I just feel really passionate about this, and I just finally know what I have to do, and it just feels right in my heart, in my mind, in my soul. And if it didn't feel right for me, I wouldn't have been doing this for this many months and putting this much effort into it as much as I have. But clearly there is something there, and when you see something there, it's best to keep hold of it. And if that's the piece of advice I'll leave with, that's probably one of my most important pieces of advice is if you feel something is right in your heart, in your mind and your soul, hold on to it and make sure you pursue it with all efforts you can possible, because what can come out of it is something great. And I hope this is an example for that.